Great. You guys all good? I'd like to welcome everyone to the Monday, July 10th meeting of the Pine Bluffs Town Council. Everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is the agenda.
I move to amend the agenda to add the approval of the bids for a police department vehicle to new business.
Second.
Moved and seconded to amend the agenda to include new business item number 2, the approval of bids for a new police department vehicle. All those or any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Are you here to represent one of the building permits? Yeah. Okay. Maybe you could come up and tell us which one. It's 911. 911 East 10th, correct?
Yeah, 911 East 10th. Yeah. Was a little late on the permit, built the fence. I looked at the building requirements, but I didn't see fence on there, so I thought it was good to go. And then after I built it, realized that I might need one, so we ran down and grabbed one.
I went and looked at it today. I don't see any problem with it. It's not encroaching on any property.
Lauren came over and checked it out too. Said he thought it was fine. But it's mainly just to keep my kid from running out in the street. Some cars go by there.
Right.
Down that road that goes up the hill pretty quick, so I just don't want him getting squished. He's about that age where he's running pretty quick.
Is that a complete fence or just like a?
It's just like that little corner, just to keep
Sure.
him from running out into the road, and then I kept it low so it didn't create a blind spot. So I tried to do a nice job.
Oh, it looks nice.
It does look nice.
Thanks.
Anybody have any questions?
No,
No.
Right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
I didn't catch his name.
My name's Joshua. Last name's Merkin. M-U-R-K-I-N.
Sorry. I should have done that. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
I did see a slight variant in the Pine Bluffs gravel invoice.
No worries.
It's, I think it's just 1 cent difference between their invoice and the application for payment.
28,531.45.
I think their invoice is represented on the application for payment,
Okay.
line 8. Am I reading that right?
The amount due for this one should be $28,531.45.
46. I think line 8 is a penny off.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Sorry.
No, thank you for catching that. Line 8. It's
Any other
usually an Excel formula, so I will make sure that they get that fixed. Thank you.
Any other discussion about the consent agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. First item under new business is the appointments and oath of office. So, guess I have those for later. So Kim and Jackie and Alex are all, I guess you can. I need to have one of those so I can read it. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Emily Patterson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Wyoming,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Wyoming,
all local ordinances,
all local ordinances,
that I have not knowingly violated
that I have not knowingly violated
any law related to my appointment
any law related to my appointment
or caused it to be done by others,
or caused it to be done by others,
and that I will discharge my duties
and that I will discharge my duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
All right? Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right. That was quick. Item number 2 is the bids for the new police vehicle.
We sent out a request for bid for a new police vehicle. As you all know, we are still waiting on our 3 Explorers to come in, but it's been a long wait, and there is no anticipated delivery date. We are now in need of a new one sooner rather than later, because one of our vehicles is really to the point where it's getting very expensive to keep up, and it now has additional electrical issues going on with it. And with our 3rd officer due back from the academy here in another couple of weeks, it would be great to have all 3 vehicles operational. So we, the chief and I worked together to discuss what needs they have as far as a standard vehicle versus an interceptor type vehicle, and there are slight modifications that can be done if needed aftermarket. Chief Smith can probably speak more to that, but we received 3 bids, 2 from Wolf Automotive and 1 from Ken Garfin Cheyenne. Ken Garfin Cheyenne is clearly the lower bidder of the 3. They're all 3 are comparable vehicles.
So we sent out more, the bid was more widely distributed than
Yes, it
these
was.
2.
It was
And these are the
posted as well as it was emailed to 3 other dealerships that we have done business with in the past.
And these are the 3 we got
These are
within the
the-
time frame.
Right, so we sent them out to 5 different email addresses that we've done business with, as well as posted it. And we received the 2 from Wolf Automotive, the 1 from Ken Garfin. We didn't receive a response from 3 other addresses. Sorry, I don't remember the name of it, but the Chevy dealership in Cheyenne, Fremont Motors, who also we've purchased vehicles from, and Long Ford.
My only concern with the 3 bids is, it looks like one of them was bid with a V6 and the other 2 were bid with a V8.
Sure,
And I'm
there
not
was
sure that those
an
are
amendment to
comparable.
that was sent out. the bottom line is, it was a typo on my part. I was using the format from a Public Works F-250 versus a standard F-150 pickup truck. So they are all the same engine, the 2.7 liter.
So even
Well,
though,
the Chevys are not.
Well, the Chevys are not.
I mean, they have no amendment on theirs.
No.
no,
That's all I'm saying, but I don't exactly know because they didn't overwrite anything on them,
Sure.
so.
Chief, are you aware of what they have in there? Well,
I know I think they both have the same engine. I'm not sure what they have. The only difference is the $57,000 one, the Trail Boss, or the, whatever they call it, had a, kind of a upgraded suspension to it. Is the only difference in the two.
Well, my concern is they definitely have a half-ton that fits in. A 6.2 and a half-ton is available, but, I mean, I guess, can you weigh in on these bids that you've looked at the bids
Yes.
and,
I think engine comparison wise, the Ford is a better engine. But, they're both pretty similar. The only difference you get is when you get into Dodge, some of their electric components can get a little more expensive when you start putting lights in them. Cause you have to have special cables and all this other funky stuff. But for the most part, Ford and Chevy are pretty similar. And I think, if I remember right, I don't have them in hand, so I can't recall exactly, but the engine was, oh, that's right. The Ford does have a 10-speed, just, I wouldn't say upgraded, but they have a better transmission. So, overall, it's a better truck, and it came in lower, so that's where I would lean.
Do you have any experience previously with either of these vehicles as far as in police capacity?
The Ford's gonna be very similar to our Expeditions. I have not had experience with trucks in law enforcement before. But the general concept plug and play of what we have Explorer-wise, or not Explorer, Expedition-wise, is gonna be pretty similar to the truck.
I do believe that that's, most of the counties via, the sheriff's department trucks are Ford trucks. I don't know why, but everything they have is Ford, so I don't know.
They do have a Chevy and a Ford at the county, and I asked them about what they like better, and, well, the sheriff drives the Chevy, he says, I'd rather have a Toyota, but, cause that's what he drives.
That was helpful, Ron.
But no, that's what he said, but the Ford truck, I think all around for gas mileage and all that stuff, that's probably, about 5 miles more to the gallon than the other ones are.
I do agree with that. Ford definitely is a better gas mileage vehicle than Chevy.
I'm satisfied.
Then I will move to approve the bid from Ken Garf for the police department vehicle.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the bid from Ken Garford for the police vehicle. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any visitor comments? I don't see any visitors. Department reports, Jana.
Nothing?
Dave?
I do not have anything yet either.
The only thing I have is to thank the fire department and everyone else involved for getting our fireworks off despite the crazy weather, and the police department for keeping the side fireworks at least kind of under control and with a few issues, but not too many, so thank all those volunteers and you fellows for that, so that's all I have.
Nothing new for me.
I haven't been to a meeting yet, so I have nothing.
Well, it could be anything, like I said, if you wanna talk about the weather or whatever. Alex?
No problems.
Great. Chief?
Matthew's back on the 20th, so we're excited to have him back. His entire class and him is doing extremely well, so excited to have him back next week.
And you guys will be attending the ceremony, or is that later?
No, we'll go.
Great. Sounds great. And you?
I'll probably be there too.
You guys get caught.
Probably better be there. So that would be the song.
For representative of the council, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Jackie?
I guess I don't really have any reports, I just have a few reminders. Building permits, obviously, were a big one. We just wanna remind residents that fences do count. You need to come in, you need to get a building permit, it needs to be approved, prior to commencing work. We appreciate those that did notify us so that they could get that taken care of, but just, yeah, so we can get that done. Bulk trash pickup, if you put things on the road and you need them picked up, you have to call us. Our trash guy doesn't just make note of that, so there's a few items around town, and if you have an item that needs picked up, all you gotta do is call and we'll arrange that, to be picked up. That's no charge to you, it's just, we just don't really want those items sitting out street side for safety concerns and just because it doesn't look near as nice. A reminder that we are doing nuisance violations, so, you know, property, maintaining your property is, your responsibility from the curb all the way within your property lines, mowing and debris. So if you get a letter from us, you can always call and make arrangements. We're always willing to work with you, but obviously we, you know, have, as tall as the grass is, there are some properties that have really become a concern as far as safety goes for things like snakes and rodents and small children and sight lines, you know, all those things. So those are just a few reminders. Please do not put grass that is not bagged in the dumpster. If you want to haul lawn clippings to our burn pile, that's great. But if you're going to put them in the dumpster, they need to be bagged. Lonnie has had several dumpsters that were just packed full, and the grass obviously creates havoc when it gets all slimy and disgusting with his trash truck. So he would appreciate it if you would do those things. That's all I have.
Jackie, had a question about, if someone's replacing an existing privacy fence, does a permit need to be
Nope.
issued for that?
Yep, if they're replacing it exactly as it exists, no. If they're changing, you know, moving it in or moving it out or extending it, then the answer is yes. Same goes for driveways, sidewalks, those things. If you're replacing them because your drivewalk's crumbling, our driveway's crumbling, you know, you can do that if you're doing it exactly as is, so, yep.
Thank you.
So I think that's one of the things, and I would ask Alex about this, that, you know, as we continue through our ordinances here, I find our building permit ordinances not, I guess what I'm asking is, in your experience, like, say Cheyenne, how specific is the language about the requirement for a permit? Because here's something that came up, and I'll just give you this example. So if you're building a retaining wall on your property, is that a permit? Is that not a permit? It's not, on one side, potentially it's not sticking above ground. The other side would be, like, we have a lot of areas which I don't think can currently be answered with our current language. So I don't know.
Yeah, those are in the cracks, kind of. Well, I think it was around 2008, Cheyenne hired a consultant from, I think it was somewhere on the West Coast. And that's where the Unified Development Code came from. I don't want it, but you know, I do think, you know, as time permits, we're looking at some of those things, and some of them are a little hazy, and there've been a lot of room for judgment calls, and you know, I think it's been something that's worked okay because we've always had people in the head office that were, you know, kind of able to use judgment on that and still do. But I also have a heart for what they're dealing with because, you know, sometimes they have to deliver the bad news, and it's nice to have some place to point to.
Yeah. And we are getting, you know, more citizens who, you know, want copy of ordinances to make sure that, you know, what we're asking of them is obviously covered, and that's completely acceptable. You know, it's just that we need to make sure that we, you know, have all the bases that you all would like covered, so that, you know, when they do come in and ask those things of us, that, you know, we can obviously provide those things, for them, that's clear guidance, that it's not like, well, it's kind of like this, you know, well, and in this case, just so that, you know, it's fair for everyone across the board, so that's, I guess.
I think it does open up, obviously, I would agree with you, a stack of rules this deep is, obviously removes all doubt, but the other way also, you know, lends to, you know, different treatment on different days depending on what your mood is.
Yeah.
And
The only question about a retaining wall is making sure it's on the right property.
which is a reason to probably apply for a permit. Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. The other thing, I was gonna say about your nuisance letters and various things is, we intended to maybe get to this earlier, and then the summer really got going, and I didn't anticipate it getting this far down the road, but I would like everyone here to think about, you know, think outside the box on a way in which we can maybe better implement. You know, maybe there is no better way than what we're currently doing, but if we have ideas on how we can maybe even encourage rather than slap their wrists, I don't know. If anybody's got any new ideas, we would love to hear them. Maybe we could implement them for next summer.
The prettiest yard award for second and third place.
Yeah, well, I'd thought about that one. The same people who are taking care of their yard are honestly.
Okay, then prettiest improved yard.
Yeah, most
Most
improved.
You can
There
do
you
that.
go, that would work way better. Anything else for Jackie?
think so.
Kim?
On behalf of EMS, Pat was just finishing up an ambulance run, so he couldn't be here at this evening's meeting. But he did want me to report that since the first of the month, they've had 4 calls. If you have any questions or concerns, you can feel free to reach out to him, or I'll be happy to relay anything to him. As far as projects go, as you can see, Maple Street is still moving right along, as well as the North Road project. We're getting very close to completion on our stormwater master plan and modeling. We anticipate a presentation for you at the next meeting. And Chris and I are also in the process of applying for some additional money from SLIB to make some of that infrastructure happen out on the north property. That's all I have.
So I asked you the question earlier today about 2-stage asphalt laying.
Yes.
So will they do the entire thing and then put the finish on in one big chunk, or will they? Do you have any
No,
idea?
they're probably going to do it in 2 phases for the top layer. Because they can do the top layer a lot faster, so they'll probably do a few blocks at a time. They're also going to have a 1-week interruption in the project, but they will be past the school at that point. So, but however, they still anticipate completing on time for their, I think it's an August 15th completion date.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know they did it in 2 separate passes. That's why I had to ask.
Yes.
I was like, are you sure we should leave it down that far?
Yeah.
It's a little shallow.
So. Okay, announcements and meetings.
Okay. So July 26th would be the special meeting. If you all will take a look at your calendars and see if the normal 4:30 works or what you're thinking about there. Kim is gonna have some things for you and would like a meeting on that date.
Should work for me.
It's fine for me.
That'll work.
What date was it?
The 26th.
I'm good.
Okay, so we will plan on July 26th at 4:30 for the special meeting. In front of you guys tonight, there should have been an invite to the quarterly in Albin on the 19th. I know that's short notice, but they literally came in the mail today, so if you will kindly RSVP or send me your RSVP via email, or you can give it to me tonight afterwards, if you already know your schedule. And I will get that sent to Jillian. And then spray day for weed and pest means that we encourage all our residents to take advantage of going out to Weed and Pest, located on Muddy Creek Drive, on Saturday, the 15th, from 8 to noon, and you can fill up your little 1-gallon sprayers to take care of your noxious weeds that, yes, they look like pretty flowers, yes, they do bad things, please spray them and take care of them. Then the Toast to Trail Days will be Friday, August 4th, and that will be at Pine Bluffs Distillery, where you can join the mayor and the council from 4 to 6 p.m.
What was that date again? I'm just,
Sorry, August 4th.
not, sorry.
Oh, sorry, which one?
No, that one's good.
Okay.
And you didn't need to apologize, it was just me trying to catch it all.
No, you're good.
And what was the time? 4?
4 to 6 p.m. so that everyone can be done to go to the melodrama. That's all I have.
can ask, would there be a second spraying of weeds, like in the cracks in the streets this year, or is that just once a summer?
Generally, they do it in the springtime, but with all the rain we've had, I'm sure that it hasn't been as successful as it could be. There currently isn't a lot of money in the budget to do that again, but if we have certain areas that are really bad, I'm sure we can find some funds to make that happen.
To your point, I think the rain has obviously made it worse than
Yeah.
usual.
I think so
Yeah.
too.
And you hate to say this, but when he was out doing it this spring, I know you want to catch the weeds when they're small, easy to kill. It was like really early.
Oh, was it?
I think he could have caught it maybe a couple weeks later
Okay.
and been as effective, but maybe got us through a little longer. But,
This is an exceptional year.
yeah,
And
Oh,
so they're
absolutely,
just
yeah.
everything like that's gonna be worse.
Sure. Are there
So
certain
there's-
areas that are worse than others, or just kind of
I
all over?
actually just noticed today, I was starting to look around and we're seeing some escapes, but it's not awful.
Yeah, it's
not
not
like we didn't
terrible.
spray.
I just noticed the other day as well.
Okay.
Just was curious.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah, I
maybe
think they did it
something-
a bit later last year.
Okay.
But I don't know if it would have worked this year with all the rain.
Sure.
I mean, it may not have held anyway, but
And part of that might be our fault, because last year they started later, but some of the weeds were already pretty tall when they started last year, so then we just had brown weeds sticking up out of the cracks instead of green ones, so, we'll have to come up with a happy medium.
okay. Anything else?
So,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Thank you.